People who destroy themselves are irrational. I think everybody would agree with that, and if they don't, they are irrational. People who destroy themselves are irrational. Casey Anthony destroyed herself when her father brought her dead child into the room, soaking wet, dressed in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, when she had been in her pajamas. Casey Anthony had to know that her father murdered her child. When she didn't call the police to have her father arrested, she was acting in a self-destructive manner. When she left her house for 31 days and went to bars and had a tattoo, Bella Vita, put on her back, she acted in a self-destructive manner. Even though she herself knew that Bella Vita, good life, was ironic and was sarcastic and meant the precise opposite of Bella Vita, she portrayed a completely opposite viewpoint by people. So everybody who destroys themselves in the same fashion that Casey Anthony destroyed herself would be equally irrational. Therefore, when you vote for a congressman or a president who is taking money from other people, and you know that people don't give money for nothing in return, unless they are irrational, then the system can't work. So in other words, just because a bribe is called campaign finance, and the Supreme Court, who is supposed to be the check and balance in the three branches of government, would condone and make a law that allowed unlimited bribery, so that corporations or groups or individuals could finance advertisements that benefited a particular candidate, was doing that obviously to benefit himself in the future. He wasn't pissing money away for no purpose. People who donate small amounts of money to candidates who will get nothing in return are irrational. People who look the other way, who don't want to know what really happened on 9/11, are irrational. When the evidence of 9/11 is so completely obvious, to know that only a government could have prepared the explosives in the buildings that would bring them down after the planes hit them, was doing that for a purpose, was murdering the 2,700 people, including the 342 firefighters that went in those buildings to save those people. People who don't want to consider the facts of that case are irrational. Therefore, democracy can't possibly work when the culture wants to look the other way. Democracy and the justice system can't work when the media is lying about what is transpiring throughout a trial such as Casey Anthony had. It just can't work. So in order to bring that system back into kilter, there must be some function by the people who depend on justice to make that happen. And I believe a movie, a full-length movie, not a documentary, that explores the facts of the Casey Anthony trial and finds out that Casey Anthony was not only not guilty of murdering her child, but knew that her father was guilty of murdering her child, and the only possible reason that he did that was because he had sexually molested her child. And the fact that she personally knew that he had molested her since she was 8 years old and refused to report being molested, even to this day, in September of 2012, is acting in an irrational way because she's self-destructive. So that this is the purpose of the movie, not just to entertain the patrons who pay to watch the movie, which would be horrific if they would actually see an actor, not in a XXX movie, but in an R-rated movie, molest another actor who plays the part of a 3-year-old child, and then watches that child being murdered, and then watches the actor father wake up the mother of that child, his daughter, Casey, and make believe the child is missing, where the daughter runs around inside the house searching for the daughter and runs outside and looks in the swimming pool and sees there is no body in the swimming pool, and that the ladder on the pool is down, so there's no way in the world that that child accidentally could have drowned in that swimming pool. And then see the father bring the body of the child in that he just dunked into the water of the pool, soaking wet, but he not being wet, and telling her that she's going to go to prison for the rest of her life for neglect, and then saying that he would take care of it, which meant that he would put that child's body into her trunk of her car to decompose and obviously stink to high heaven, and wait when she called him to say that she left the car in a parking lot at a place called Scott because she had run out of gas again, but that he didn't go there to retrieve the car to prevent the payment for the tow and for the storage of the car at the tow yard, but went to the vehicle to switch the dead body with a bag of garbage, so that when the car got towed, the bag of garbage would be in the trunk, and that when the tow yard guy accompanied him to get the car back after he paid for the charge, he opened up the trunk and showed the bag of garbage and removed it from the trunk and threw it over the fence to put into the dumpster. there would be evidence at the trial of his daughter who was framed for the murder. So, you see, there's a ton of evidence in this case that has been completely overlooked by the entire country because they've been misled by the media. This is a serious problem in a democracy. This is the purpose of creating the movie, for Americans to consider self-destructive, irrational behavior that they themselves are committing, just like Casey Anthony.